So here you have it, Porsche Boxster, 987, 2.7, flat six, manual gearbox. Something that I've always wanted to own. Here it is. So the Renault Clio is now gone. That was sold to a really nice gentleman off Facebook Marketplace, and we picked this up literally 3 days later. 85,000 miles on the clock, full service history, part Porsche, part Porsche specialist, and it has wanted for nothing. It has literally been cared for and cherished by its previous owners. It's in a really nice Arctic silver, standard Porsche wheels, 18-inch. It's got the blue interior, which I'll go around and show you. And overall, I am really impressed with this car. It was a big step down in terms of power compared to the Renault. However, the noise, the feeling, the balance of the car is absolutely fantastic. When we actually went and test drove this, my father, Derek, he actually, I could tell he wasn't that keen on the car on the first test drive. He could see it was lacking something, but as he's been spending time with the car over the last couple of weeks, he's really grown to love this car, as have I. And it's just a really fun car to drive. Affordable. Insurance was an extra, I think, £50 a year. And overall, what a fantastic bit of kit. I'm really looking forward to taking this to Donington, just to see how it handles on the track. But moreover, there are a few things we've got to do to it, just to bring it up to what I would like in terms of, the overall finish of the car. For example, the tyres, I want to get some Michelins on there. It does need, there's a small scratch on the wing here, for example, that needs to be T-cut out. And there's a few little bits around the car, interior mats. It has got genuine Porsche ones, but they're slightly worn out, so we're going to change those. One of the headlights is slightly yellowed, so we'll work on that. What else is there? It's got a full stainless steel exhaust system, which sounds absolutely superb. So really happy with that. I think I found a receipt. There's a stack of history with the car. A receipt just for the exhaust alone, I think, was £600 just to purchase the extra exhaust. And it's got a Apple CarPlay Pioneer stereo system in it, which is fantastic. Really helps when you're driving. And like I say, there's just a few little bits that we want to do to it. So I'm going to show you around the car now. I'll also do some onboard footage of the car being driven. And I think it's going to be a really cool car to bring to the channel. And hopefully some of you might get the opportunity to own one of these and experience it for yourself, because honestly, pound for pound, I knew I said it about the Renault, but this car is absolutely fantastic. And I've always looked at the Porsche Boxster as the sort of poor man's 911. However, I think owning one now, it's changed my mind totally. So let me show you around the car and let's see what you think. So first of all, let's give you a quick look around the car. So as I mentioned, this mark on the wing, you can see here, look. You can see it just runs up. A few small stone chips there we can see, but nothing crazy. It's just had brand new discs, which are pretty nice, front and back. I mean, what a car. Like I say, I've never really, looked at the Boxsters in great depth, but I've always seen them as the sort of the ugly sister, as it were, to the 911. But I think it's absolutely a fantastic offer, and I'm really pleased with this one. I mean, it does not look like a 20-year-old car. This is a 2005 model, and it really has, stood the test of time. So, I mean, at a quick first walk around, you can see there's nothing crazy about the car that needs fixing, but there are a few little issues which I'll show you. as we sort of have a look inside the car now. So let's show you the little bits that I was talking about that need doing. So just a quick look. There you go, there's the exhaust system. Absolutely fantastic, really nice note. I'll fire it up in a moment and show you what it sounds like, but let's just open her up. Okay, so we did have a new battery in the key fob. That was the first thing that needed doing. But as you can see, interior wise, the blue leather, I wasn't a fan of the blue when I saw them in photos, but actually owning one, I think it's actually really nice. So you can see there's a bit of wear on the mat. I've actually got a new set of mats for this, so I'll put those in. Also, one of the things this does have is the auto dip mirrors, but as you can see, the mirror is actually broken down here. So I've ordered some replacement mirrors. Now that mirror itself, if I was to replace it with the auto dip, was I think £800 from Porsche, and I think there's an aftermarket one you can get online for about £250, but it's got this black trim around it, which you can only get if you get it from Porsche, and I'm a bit of a OCD freak, and I like things to match, so I've just ordered standard heated mirrors for now. And then now you have got to press the clutch on this to start it up, so bear with me one sec. This is the real reason I like this car. It's the sound. Bit of gangster's paradise there. So let's get the mic down there so you can hear it. Real nice sound. It's a real nice place to be. So inside, oops, accidentally, that wasn't meant to happen. Like I say, you got the Apple Play here, which works a treat. I think it's really, really good. I think I've called someone. I'm not sure. As you can see here, it's got the glass Porsche windbreaker, which works fantastic, to be fair. Got the glove box, cup holders, which come out both sides. Does have an electric roof as well, which I won't put down in this video, but it works perfectly. And yeah, as you can see, 84,000 miles on the clock, 84,500. Temperature sips absolutely perfect. Like anything, when you're buying a new car, you're always a bit dubious when you're driving them home for the first time, but I have to say it drove faultless. And one of the things I do really like is all the controls still work on the steering wheel, so the volume, the telephone, the menus, the skip on the Apple Play, it just does what it says on the tin. The previous owner had it aircon regassed as well, so it's ice cold in here, and there's a few little niggles that I want to sort out, so let me just show you around. Let's just turn that up. So first of all, the spoiler doesn't work. Now I have the massive door. The spoiler doesn't work on it, so that does need attention. Now I found a fuse in here, but it kept blowing it, so I've got a feeling the trim off the roof internal, and then I've got the new replacement mirrors here. Yeah, we've got the new mirrors. We've got a new cap, because I don't know whether you can see this, but there's a bit of condensation in here. And what I think's happening is this cap is leaking. It's common. If you look under here on the boot, you'll actually see the condensation here. And what it is, these caps leak. And I did notice the water had dropped slightly. So I've got a replacement cap, although my dad has managed to lose it somehow. Around the front. Under here. I mean, what a badge to have on a car. Okay, Okay, so everything's pretty standard under here. It is a really, really surprising front boot. I think they call it a frunk if you're in America, but it's got everything that it needs. Spare wheel. One thing it did have was a set of HID headlight bulbs, which I've installed, and they look a lot better. So as you can see from a quick walk around, the car is absolutely fantastic. I'm really, really happy with it. So I'm going to get those mats in now, and I'm also going to try and do the mirrors, and I'll show you how it goes as we go through. This is a learning curve for me as much as it is for you, believe me. But yeah, let's go. The thing I'm going to do is replace these mats. Now, I'm hoping they're the same colour. They are a slightly different grey, but get those in. Yeah, they are slightly lighter, as you can see, but I think they look a lot better for now. So, after looking online, it seems these just pop out, so I don't quite see. Okay, so it does pop out. While we're there, we get rid of the spiders. So with this one, it's obviously got quite a few connectors on because it is a dipping mirror. However, we're not going to be using the dipping side of it anymore. So in that case, what we're going to do is take this apart, like so. And I think there might need to be a slight modification here because we don't have this clip on the back of the mirror, which means they won't heat. However, on the back of this one that we've taken out, you can see they're slightly different. They're the same shape, but this one has like a plastic case around it. Now, I'm not sure whether I can take the case off. There's like liquid running out of that, so I don't actually think it's possible. But they say the new one just clips straight in. It just obviously concerns me that we haven't got the heating element side of it, which is here. So maybe what I could do is take these off the mirror and just rescue the wiring harness. At least that retains the heating element, and maybe I can just cut these wires to the mirror, which are just sort of locked in. So if we take those off, just remembering those two are the clips. So that's kind of removed that wiring harness. And what I can do is clip these because they actually fit onto here. They probably need like a little push, and I can cut these off, which I'll do in a moment, and then we can literally clip the wiring back in minus these two, which we won't need. So I'm just going to get some snips from the garage, do that. So I've now got some tape just to put over the ends of these wires rather than cutting them. So what I could do is just put a bit of electrical tape over them. Now I wouldn't recommend using your teeth for that, but I can't seem to find any pliers in my garage, so we'll put that on there for now. Fold this one just back on itself. It's just so they don't short out and cause all sorts of things. Now I'm not entirely sure if this is actually going to work, because it might bring on some light on the dash maybe, I don't know. I hope not, because I don't want to be paying £800 or whatever it was from Porsche for an auto dip mirror. So while that's off, I don't know whether this winds you up, but you get these spiders that live in. So you can tackle that now. Whilst I've got it out, put this back in, like so. Just sat down there. Hopefully this will click back in, like so. That wasn't as bad as I thought. That seems firmly in. And that looks a damn sight better than that. So run to the other side and we'll get the other one in. Now, what I have thought with this one, because I've seen how much they are from Porsche, is actually if we can save this one when we get it out, it might be that we can sell it. Now, I'm not entirely hopeful, if I'm honest, just because of how fragile they are, but we'll give it a go anyway. Okay, this one seems a lot more difficult. Nope, we've got it. Again, we've got this wiring loom at the back. I don't want to drop this because obviously it's an expensive mirror. So I'm just going to disconnect this one. There we go. So you can see this one's actually in really good condition. Now my only concern is I don't have the wires. So what I'm probably going to have to do is cut this one off so I can keep the heating part, and if someone wants to buy this they're going to have to use their own wiring, but if I just nip that there, at least they've still got them connected to the car. So I'm going to go and find a pair of pliers now and then we'll come back and fit the other one. So next best thing is a pair of snips. So I'm just going to cut this wire here and here. That means they can splice into that if they want. And then I'm going to just connect these. Now, I don't think there's a plus and a minus. I think it just completes the circuit. So I'll put that on there. That's on. Small bit of electrical tape just to protect it. There's probably auto electricians going, what are you doing? But I think this was the best solution for the money. Again, to see if we can get rid of these spiders that cause havoc. And then again, I'm just going to connect back into this, which goes that way. Took the wires back into that corner and simply try and click the mirror back in. Not having any of it on this one, but there we go. That seems to have worked. Now we'll just go around and check the inside, but I am going to save this mirror because, like I said, from Porsche they're about £800. So that auto dipping mirror that we got here, I think we can sell on eBay and try and recover some of the money. Okay, let's go around and check to make sure this is working okay, and then we can take it from there. So I have left the key in. One thing with this is you do have to press the clutch down to start it. This seems to be working absolutely fine. Really well. I think that was a success. I just love the sound of that flat six. No warning lights, which is great. I think that was a success. So, I've done the wing mirrors. Like I say, that one was absolutely shot. I think the only place for that one is in the bin. That one we can sell, which I'll put on eBay. I'll share the listing just in case one of you wants to actually buy that. And then the next thing I think that we're going and then I think we're going to maybe look to lower it slightly. And then I think overall just a general tidy up and maybe look at that rear spoiler. Although it doesn't bother me too much because it's not the car that, you know, kind of needs that extra downforce, I don't think. I think it's more of a gimmick than anything. But overall, yeah, I'm really happy with it, and I think, you know, it'd be good to take you now for a drive just so you can see how the thing performs and how it sounds, because I think they sound absolutely fantastic. And like I said at the beginning of the video, pound for pound, I think they're an absolutely fantastic car, and I have started to see the 996s certainly start to appreciate. The interesting thing is, my wife, who's a bit of a car nut as well, she has the Bentley GT and the Discovery. She really liked driving this car. She doesn't normally drive manuals. I think she hadn't driven a manual for the best part of 15 years, but she was trying everything to get in this, and after taking her out for a drive, she fell in love with this, and she's actually started looking for one herself, even looking at the Caymans. But I do think these are a car that are certainly going to appreciate in the next sort of 2 to 3 years. So it might be worth now, if you're seriously thinking about getting a Boxster, certainly look at the 996s, and you know, there are some out there that are still very low mileage, and also the 997s, which I think the 987, sorry, and the 986, which are really, really good value for money. I think they're a 997. Let me come back to you on that. So yeah, they are a 987 and the 986. Those are the two models, variants that I've certainly been looking at. And I think pound for pound, they are probably one of the best value cars, mid-engine cars on the market for sure. I don't think there's much that will touch these. Obviously, you've got the Lotus Elise, but again, they are, you know, they're going up in value. I also looked at TVRs, obviously front engine V8s, whereas this offers a really good balance. And I've got to say, comfort-wise, I could drive probably 3 or 4 hours in this without even thinking, you know, much about it. It's really, really comfortable for what it is. So overall, I'd probably give this, you know, a 9 out of 10 for sure in terms of overall value for money, driving experience, and I really do look forward to taking this on some long road trips. I certainly want to take it through the Welsh mountains and get some footage up there. and take you along for that journey, because I think it'll be really, really good. I know Top Gear have done some episodes where they've used the Boxster. I think Freddie Flintoff had one on one of his episodes, and I remember him saying how good these cars drive. You always listen to it, but until you experience it, you don't really get what he's talking about. But certainly after owning this for a couple of weeks, I'm really, really impressed with it overall. And actually I find myself wanting to drive it. As much as I love the previous Clio that I had, it was a bit of an effort to drive. You know, you're always thinking in the back of your head, mechanical sympathy, whereas these are German engineering, you know, with good maintenance. You can really drive them hard, and they just keep going, which is fantastic. So overall, brilliant car, and you know, I really look forward to taking you out on a road trip and for you to experience it. If you do see me at any of the track days and you want to go out in the car, please just come over and I'll take you out and show you what it's all about. But yeah, overall, really, really happy with the purchase, and you know, we'll get some close-ups now and show you some around the car. Enjoy it.
Soundstripe. Soundstripe.
So this is going to be a bit of an experiment, because I haven't used this mounting bracket in this car before. It might pick up a bit of vibration, so I'm going to keep the mic close to me on this one, because when I did the Renault video, the road noise was terrible. But I'm not holding much hope for this, because it is quite a noisy car because of the exhaust. But we'll give it a go and we'll see what comes of it. It is getting a bit dark here, so apologies for the light, but I just want to try and get this footage for you before I take the car back and park it up. So let's go for a quick drive. I'm hoping it picks it up on the mic. So yeah, like I say, overall, I think this really is a good driver's car. The actual balance of the vehicle and the way it sits on the road is absolutely fantastic. It's definitely an A-Roads car, although it sits really comfortably on the motorway. Unfortunately, because it has got the sports exhaust on it, does resonate quite bad through the cabin, but I think it's one of those trade-offs, you know, to have that bit of extra sound. I think you've got to, yeah, you can see it's vibrating, so I'll try and hide the camera until we get off this lane. But yeah, like I was saying, the trade-off is, you know, having a slightly noisier exhaust, but when you've got the roof off, it really does sound fantastic. And I think it's definitely something that I would do if I was going to buy another one of these, is have that exhaust, because it does make you smile when you put your foot down. Holding this camera like this looks like I'm almost wanting to kiss you. So let's get the car up on smooth the road, and then hopefully that's a bit better. Having that engine just sat behind you really does make a difference. It's just got that real, it's a Porsche noise. It really does deliver smiles when you put your foot down and listen to it. So I've had the car now probably 2 weeks, and I haven't got bored of driving it, if that makes sense. I've had cars that I've owned for less than 2 or 3 days, and I get bored of them. This one really has captured that essence of driving, And I think for anyone who's had a Boxster will certainly understand what I'm saying, because like I say, up until this point I'd not really thought about owning one, and I didn't have a desire to own one. However, the more I looked at them, the more I thought, you know what, I'm going to give one of these a go. And I've watched a couple of videos on YouTube of people driving them, and it just seemed too good for me to not give it a go. And for the price they're going now, I mean, I've seen, you know, the earlier generations going for sort of £4,500 to £5,000. Now, that's a lot of car for the money. I mean, you know, list price on one of these when they came out was probably like 50, 60, 70,000 pounds. And certainly on the newer generation models, you could be talking for a GT4 upwards of 150, 160,000 pounds. The DNA of the car is still there. It's still a Porsche Boxster. It's just got all the bells and whistles. So from a driver's point of view, you're still going to experience the same levels of handling and that balance in the car, be it better brakes, better suspension. I do think these cars are absolutely fantastic in terms of the handling. So what is there not to try, what to want to try for the sake of £6,000, £7,000, £8,000? And depreciation on these vehicles, it's already happened. So for me, the only way they can go is up and appreciate. So for me, I think the risk was low. It's definitely worth chucking, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8, £10,000 if you've got it into one of these. One, for the driving experience. Two, you're not really going to lose that money, because I think that they won't go much lower than what they are now. I think they're only going to go up, like you see with the Lotuses, TVRs. You know, when I was looking at TVR Chimeras 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I could get them for £7,000. Now you're looking north of 10, 11 for a decent one, probably 15, 16. I genuinely think with the 986 and 987s, that is going to be what's going to happen to these, and I think they're going to go up. So it might be that, you know, I keep hold of this one for a bit longer with the chance that it might appreciate more. Genuinely, for a driver's day, Sunday afternoon blast, I think it's the best you can get for your money. Some of you might disagree. You know, I've certainly been looking at the price of the 911s, the earlier 4Ss, and again, they're starting to go north in price. So I think the Boxster sits really, really nicely in between that sort of serious money and, you know, play money. Like I say, I sold my Meglio for what I paid for this, essentially. So, you know, for me, it was the perfect car to go for. So, do I think I made a good choice? Yeah, I think I made the right choice. And I think with that 2.7 behind you, delivering absolute smiles, I think it's definitely ticked a lot of boxes for me in terms of, you know, all-round drivable car. It's got its luxuries. It's got air conditioning. It's got comfy seats. It's got a wonderful engine, German engineering. What more is there to not like? And I think, you know, the only way from here for me would be maybe to go for the next engine up, maybe the 3.2. Although I have seen, you know, reports of bore scoring and all these horror stories, I genuinely don't think that is as prevalent as it was, you know, when it first came to light. I think now, with the way these cars have, you know, filtered through, any of those cars that had serious problems with bore scoring in the earlier models, I think they've kind of found their way out now. And I think, you know, people have had the work done. IMS bearings is another thing. Looking through the paperwork on this, it did go back to Porsche for a bearing seal. So I think, again, this one has had the problem and they've remedied it, they've fixed it. So, you know, I think it's safe to say, you know, those horror stories you hear of these cars has probably now started to fizzle out, and actually it's history that's, you know, holding the value down on these cars rather than what they are today. So, you know, if I was going to put my money on it, I would definitely say these cars are an appreciating vehicle, and I think it would be, you know, a good investment, maybe one that you can enjoy as well as make some money on. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I'm sorry I rambled on a bit, but genuinely I do like this car, and I think it's certainly a car that I'm going to remember and wish I'd probably owned sooner. I'm going to show you some shots now around the car just for you to appreciate what it's all about, and I'm going to leave you on this lovely Monday evening exhaust note.
I grew up in a place where they told you what to chase, told you how to run the race, every move was on the page. But I didn't like their way, had to fight and misbehave, had to find a way to change, had to leave to find my way. Caught up in a daydream, I beat my mind up there almost daily. It's how I pass time, no opinions safely. It's how I understand what I want in this place, see, cause everybody wanna tell you bad things, what could go